Howdy, boys. I'm Jim Raynor, Marshal of these parts.
My name is Arcturus Mensk, and I represent the Sons of Korhal.
I am the Overmind, the eternal will of the Swarm.
I am Judicator Aldaris.
I am Tassadar of the Templar.
I am the Queen of Blades, and my stare alone would reduce you to ashes.
There's no doubt about it. Brood War doesn't arrive gently. It hits us from every angle emotionally, and it ensures that we know where we stand. The slideshows are back, and we're given a brutal reminder of how the original game ended. The Overmind is gone, and Aiur is in ruins. As the Executor, we're in charge of the Protoss forces that remain and move to reunite the Sons of Aiur whilst dealing with the Zerg across our homeworld. Landing in a ready room located in an isolated base, we find both Aldaris and Zeratul waiting for us. Bet you didn't think that would ever happen. Aldaris does his usual Judicator shtick by paying tribute to Tassadar, but states that with no support available, we're going to have to make do with what we have.
Greetings, Executor. Though we all grieve for the loss of mighty Tassadar, we must find the resolve to carry on. He sacrificed himself to destroy the Overmind, but many Zerg still rage across our ruined homeworld. Without the Conclave to lead us, or the protection of our great fleets, it seems we must fend for ourselves.
Zeratul actually agrees with him, and highlights that it's pretty obvious at this point that the Zerg are going to keep coming for us unless we get out of dodge.
Aldaris is correct, Executor. As we have both seen, the Zerg will not halt their rampage until every last one of us is dead.
This is where he suggests something unique.
I suggest that we retreat to our last functional warp gate and travel to where the Zerg cannot follow us.
Aldaris, however, can't help himself, and proceeds to highlight that the pride of the Protoss people is to stand and fight, but Zeratul gives him a gentle nudge stating, it's a bit of a silly idea.
With all due respect, Zeratul, the Protoss do not run from their enemies. Aiur is our homeworld. It is here that we shall make our stand.
Just as your Conclave did. They are dead now, Aldaris. Dead because they allowed their pride to blind their reason. Only if we learn from their mistakes can we live to avenge them.
Zeratul then throws a curveball and suggests that we all come and stay with the Dark Templar on their world.
Now, Executor, I know of a place where we can find solace. It is Shakuras, the secret homeworld of my people, the Dark Templar.
He doesn't directly say it, but Aldaris is surprised by this, questioning if they'd be welcome.
Your people? We would be seen as tyrants to them. Why would they shelter us?
You can almost picture the eye roll that Zeratul gives here, telling him that not everyone in the universe is a dick.
Have I not pledged myself to your cause? Not all beings are as unforgiving as your lamented Conclave, Aldaris.
Aldaris is quick to adjust his stance and agrees with Zeratul,
You are right, of course.
before addressing us and telling us what happens next, right before introducing a new Praetor.
Executor, Zeratul shall find us passage to the warp gate. After the gate has been secured, Phoenix and the new Praetor Artanis shall lead our surviving brethren to Shakuras.
And I will get crucified if I don't address this. In the remaster, Artanis looks awesome. In the original, yeah, not so much.
Executor, I am Artanis. Though I have only recently been appointed Praetor, you can trust that I will uphold the honor and traditions of the Templar.
We shall see.
And just when you thought he'd forgotten about us, Jimmy pulls up, asking if he can tag along too, and Zeratul of course is more than welcoming.
Hey boys, mind if we tag along? I figure heading anywhere has got to be better than staying here with the Zerg.
Commander Raynor, as ever, your assistance is appreciated. We would be honored if you joined us.
So, the first time on the ground after the Overmind's defeat, the Scourge flying across the screen is an absolute class act from the developers. It quietly reinforces the fact that the Protoss are no longer running the show here on Aiur. Instead, they are at the mercy of the Zerg. With Zeratul leading our small band of zealots and dragoons, we charge into the fog of war, only to start getting called out by Zerglings. A little way down and Zeratul notes the Nidus canals, suggesting that getting rid of these prevents unwanted backup.
Destroy these Nidus canals so as to stem the flow of Zerg reinforcements through them.
Detectors are not readily present here, so you can either send Zeratul in to do the wet work or use the squad as a whole to speed things up. However, this isn't the case moving forward. Be careful sending him too far ahead. More Nidus canals and some scattered defences become apparent, but nothing that we can't handle. As we progress down this map, we can see the battered and broken Protoss buildings, flames rising from them, confirming that what we once knew here is now lost. Further down, we just so happen to run into some zealots who appear to be heading to the same objective as us.
Entaro Adun, there is no time to waste. We must join our brethren in battle.
A welcome addition, of course, especially if you've been unlucky to lose a few up to this point. We find a platoon of our brethren throwing down against a horde of Zerg ground units, no doubt mobilized due to the canals. Zeratul notes how reassuring it is to see more Protoss warriors fighting.
It is good to see more of our brethren on the battlefield.
This first mission doesn't bother with a warm-up. It assumes that we've completed the previous campaigns in all their horror and glory, and has no issue with making the picture clear. This isn't just a sprint to an objective, it's a fight for the very survival of a species. Now, I said in my previous Protoss campaign video that I thought the Protoss soundtrack was gorgeous, and this time round is no exception. Each species in Brood War received one extra soundtrack for the OST, and the Protoss edition is perfect in its ambience. Signaling both an infinitesimal hope and a lingering sense of dread. As we finally reach where we think we need to be, we're greeted warmly by a small force headed up by some Templar.
This is all that remains of our forces in this province. We have found the location of the warp gate, but there is a sizable Zerg force blocking the way.
Shield batteries are here, which gives us a little pick-me-up should we need it after the battles up to this point, and of course, where there are High Templars, Archons aren't usually far behind. We finally get to the warp gate. Any inkling we have of doing something with this base is quickly put to bed, as Zerglings come screaming at us with no ending sight. As our forces make for the warp gate, a shuttle flies in and drops both Raynor and Phoenix off, with Jimmy telling us to just get on with it. Phoenix and himself will hold the line until it's done.
Worry about getting your people through the gate, Executor. Phoenix and I will hang back and protect our flank until everyone is through.
Artanis is the first to sound off, and he does so in a way fitting of the new Praetor.
Entaro Tassadar, Executor. The survivors from Aiur have made it safely through the gate. Yet, amidst the chaos of our retreat, we lost contact with Phoenix and Raynor. I fear that they may have been overrun by the Zerg.
Zeratul reassures Artanis by informing him that Phoenix is pretty much bomb-proof at this point, and Raynor has a habit of surviving everything that comes his way.
Fear not, Artanis. Phoenix is as stalwart a warrior as I have ever known, and the Terran Raynor has proven himself to be highly resourceful in the past. I for one believe that they made it here safely.
He then goes on to suggest that we go and get the lay of the land. see where we could put some roots down so that we can center ourselves in the search for the Dark Templar.
But while we wait for word from them, we must reconnoiter the surrounding area and find a suitable location for a more permanent settlement. Once we're situated, we can begin to search for the Dark Templar.
Welcome to Shakuras, a unique and somehow fitting vision of the Dark Templar home. This realm of twilight, cold and dark, gives off an unwelcoming vibe that honestly feels so correct for Zeratal's people. Correct for the Nerazim. With a mix of probes and zealots, we head off to have a little look around, only to find that the Zerg have already arrived, with Artanis stating,
There are Zerg on Shakuras. They must have taken control of the warp gate on Aiur.
Breezing past that little interruption, we find the perfect spot and begin to do our thing. And as we begin to get the ball rolling, Hydralisks decide to pull up and ruin our day. But out of nowhere, we hear several phrases that are called out in Kalani, the Protoss native tongue, but not ones that we're familiar with. Once the invaders have been slain, one Dark Templar greets us, and the surprising thing? He's pretty relaxed about the whole thing.
Glad I am to see that you've returned home after these many decades. But the strange guests that have followed you here seem ill-tempered.
Well met, my brother. Indeed, these creatures known as the Zerg have no regard for the sanctity of life. Once we have secured this area, I shall tell you everything I know about them in council.
I am sure the matriarch will be eager to hear your tale as well.
The matriarch. Now here's something we never considered. As the executor, we have praetors and judicators, so it only makes sense that the Dark Templar would have something adjacent to this, and a perceived female at that. We're then promptly informed by Artanis that he's received word from Reyna and Phoenix. They're alive, and they're doing what they can to gain control of the warp gate from the other side, and he urges us to take care of things here.
Executor, we have received a transmission from Reyna and Phoenix. They are still alive and are fighting to retake the warp gate on Aiur. We must secure the gate on this side without delay.
And here comes our objective. Take out the Zerg base. This works well, as it gives us a familiar format to follow. Build a base, grow our economy, and cause havoc on the enemy. Whilst we do all of this, the Dark Templar that came to our rescue hang around, which is a really good job too. They can handle the fodder that tries to come for us with little effort. And the game is really good at feeding into the excitement of having them as playable units, because this time round, we can warp them in ourselves. Quick reminder, whilst it's easy to get carried away with making this new warrior cast, remember to bang out some Dragoons too. Mutalisks are a thing here. Also, Overlords can be a pain, what with them being detectors and all, so you're going to need a way to keep your cloaked units safe from prying eyes. It can be easy to get caught off guard by spore colonies, but handle those with Dragoons and the rest is easy. As Zerg forces slowly dwindle, expanding to new resource fields is a good idea. Once we near the Shakuras warp gate, Artanis warns us that he can't see the dynamic duo and that they must still be back on the homeworld.
There is no sign of Phoenix or Reyna. They must still be on Aiur.
The final Zerg area is more impressive than the ones we've dealt with so far, so having the firepower to go in and drop them is important. Once we've done the deed, Reyna radios through with information that we didn't quite expect.
Executor, my crew and I will remain here on Aiur and shut the gate down on this side. It's the only way to make sure that the Zerg won't send more reinforcements to Shakuras.
Artanis is quick off the mark to confirm that Reyna knows what this means.
You will be hopelessly outnumbered, and once the gate is shut down, there will be no one to save you should you be overrun.
Yeah, well, I'm a man of action. What can I say?
I shall remain with Raider as well, Executor. My duty is to Aiur after all.
Farewell then, brave warriors. We will send through all the troops we can spare.
Thanks. You kids just remember to play nice from now on, okay? Wish us luck.
And with that, the twin forces of Reyna and Phoenix remain on Aiur. In a brilliant twist to what we've seen of the Protoss as a whole, we're introduced to the matriarch of the Dark Templar, Rashagal. She welcomes us and segues into her official introduction.
I am Rashagal, matriarch of the Dark Templar, and I welcome you and your companions to our world. Zeratul has informed me of the fall of Aiur, and I am deeply grieved. I am one of the few Dark Templar old enough to remember our ancestral home with clarity. Yet no matter how tragic the circumstances, it is clear that fortune has reunited our people. We Dark Templar will never forget our banishment from Aiur, nor the Conclave's sins against us. But you and your companions are no longer of the Conclave. The example set by your fallen hero, Tassadar, has shown you that when the light and dark sides of our energies are united, our power is undeniable.
Aldaris then says his piece, and this is actually good to see. He comes into the conversation humble, stating that they've been through it with these new creatures, but Rashagal continues with her calm demeanor and explains a brief history of Shakuras.
But Matriarch, the Zerg who have followed us here are unlike any enemy the Protoss have ever known.
You speak the truth, Judicator. And yet, there lies a dormant power here that can help us to scour the Zerg from Shakuras forever. Long ago, we Dark Templar were a nomadic people. But when we found a remarkable monument upon this world, we decided to remain here to study it. We discovered that the enormous structure is actually an ancient Xel'Naga temple, dedicated to the race that sired us all. The temple is situated above a nexus of powerful cosmic energies. If we were to access those energies...
Aldaris tries to jump the gun, clearly wanting to take advantage of the hand that's just been revealed. But guess what? Not that simple.
Then we should strike now while the Zerg still muster their forces.
Alas, we cannot. In order to properly channel the energies of the temple, we will need the twin crystals, Uraj and Callus, that legends say were separated many ages ago. The Uraj is laced with pure Templar energies, while the Callus is comprised of dark Templar energy. Only by using these two crystals in unison can we hope to channel the potent energies of the temple.
Then it is clear that we must retrieve these crystals, wherever they may be.
Agreed. But first, we must deal with the Zerg and their two Cerebrates who have already taken up station around the temple itself. To arms, my children. Scour the temple grounds of this foul infestation.
Can we just take a second to appreciate how she doesn't go into explicit detail about how this mission is going to go? She simply said, to arms, and that's all we needed to hear. As we hit the surface of Shakuras, Zeratul makes a point to gently remind us that a Cerebrate will only truly fall to a Dark Templar.
Remember, young Templar, Cerebrates can be killed only by Dark Templar weapons and energies. My brethren will make short work of any Cerebrate.
This pretty much gives us the go-ahead to do whatever we want up to that point, but they need to be the ones to deliver the killing blow. Quickly following on from this, Zeratul lets us know that spore colonies are in position around the Cerebrates, and with them being detectors, they'll be able to alert the rest of the Zerg hive to our presence.
Executor, our sensors show that the two Cerebrates are surrounded by spore colonies.
But the Dark Templar have the perfect counter for this. Introducing the Corsair, the Nerazim fleet's trump card. These beautiful creations have an ability called Disruption Web that makes everything underneath them cease operation, even detector abilities. We watch as the fleet deploys them and follows up with Dragoons for a gorgeous follow-up tactic of attacking from range so as not to get caught in the web themselves. Handling this unlocks additional resources, which is always welcome, but just a heads up, the Zerg take this personally, so we'll charge in to try and stop us. We're going to need shuttles here too. Getting the Corsairs to disable spore colonies before we drop our forces in to destroy them is exactly the lesson that the mission is trying to teach us. Sometimes, brute force isn't the only answer. As we fight our way through, we see the Xel'Naga temple that Rashagal mentioned, and it's way bigger than anything else we've seen so far. Wiping out the remaining Zerg encampment enables our Dark Templar to get up close and personal with the Cerebrate, and you've got to be kidding me.
Well done, mighty Protoss. I'm glad to see that you all are as violent as ever.
Zeratul can't quite grasp what's happening here.
Kerrigan, what mockery is this?
Relax, warriors. Despite what you may think, I haven't come here to fight you.
Aldaris, ever the skeptic, rejects Kerrigan's claims, stating that it's pretty clear the Zerg here are under her control now.
This is laughable. Do you truly expect us to believe that your intentions here are honorable? That these Zerg here are not under your sway?
Kerrigan tries to reason with him, but Zeratul isn't buying it.
Look, the Cerebrates you've killed were my enemies as well. If you let me explain, I'm sure you'll understand that—
You are the enemy of all who live, Kerrigan. What makes you think we would have anything to do with you?
She then responds by dropping the niceties.
Because, Zeratul, I bring news of an event that threatens us all.
She's got information that is clearly a problem to everyone and asks for an audience.
If you'd be so good as to escort me back to your citadel, I'll tell you everything I know.
The matriarch is intrigued by this but warns Kerrigan, step out of line and it's over.
Very well, Kerrigan. We shall hear what you have to say. But be warned, we will not suffer your treachery here.
The ready room opens above the planet Braxis, with Rashagal inviting Kerrigan to get to the point.
Now then, Kerrigan. Perhaps you had best explain yourself. What is this news you've come to give?
And that's when she drops the bomb.
There is a new Overmind growing on Char.
What? Impossible. Why should we believe anything you have to say?
The ready room as a whole is actually shocked by this, and she goes on to say that since the OG Overmind is gone, she's managed to regain her free will, and she can, to a certain extent, understand that this is a lot to hear.
Because, Zeratul, I'm no longer the mindless murderess whom you fought on Char. The Overmind is dead. Whatever warped control it once had over me is gone. I know that this is a lot to take in all at once, but you've got to believe me.
Aldaris does his thing and calls her out, but the matriarch shuts him down, leading to him actually leaving this conversation.
There's more at
She
stake here.
lies. She is infested to the core. I, for one, will not listen to any of this.
Silence, Judicator. Continue, Kerrigan.
Apparently, many of the renegade Cerebrates, commanded by Dagoth, have merged into a new Overmind. Fortunately, the creature is still in its infant stages. It can't control the swarm yet, but Dagoth and the others still have control over most of the broods. The two Cerebrates you killed here were part of Dagoth's forces. Look, I don't need to tell you all what might happen if that thing reaches maturity. I can guarantee you that should it awaken, it'll take full control of me, just like it did before. I don't want that to happen, and I'm pretty sure you don't want it to happen either.
Zeratul states that we've got other things on our plate than to attack a new Overmind, addressing our need to find the Uraj and Kalis before anything else.
Even if what you say is true, our priority is to save this world, not assault the new Overmind. We must find the crystals Uraj and Kalis before we are all vanquished.
Kerrigan, in what seems like a genuine offer, offers her services to help speed this search up.
Then I'll help you with your search. If you can defeat the renegade Zerg gathered here, it'll weaken the efforts of Dagoth and his ilk.
Rashagal thinks this over for a moment and then issues her wish.
My children, you must put aside your fears and misgivings to accomplish what must be done.
For the time being, at least, we need to let bygones be bygones and work towards a mutual cause.
For the time being, Kerrigan will assist you in your endeavors. Though she has been your enemy, it is enough that we share the same agenda now. Allow her time enough to prove herself to you, and you may find her to be a valued ally. For now, you must focus on the task at hand. Search for the Uraj on the planet Braxis, and let nothing stop you from recovering it.
Artanis enters the chat in place of Aldaris and confirms that we will do as she commands, but if she thinks that we're just going to forget everything that's happened up to this point, then that's a hard no.
We will do what you ask, Matriarch. But you cannot expect us to forgive Kerrigan's crimes against our race. Executor, prepare our forces. We shall debark for the planet Braxis before the next moonrise.
Well, this is new. Snow. And yes, you're seeing that right. It's not our forces we're looking at. It's Terran. Several shuttles run in and drop Reavers and Dragoons to start clearing the deck for us, and as everything gets underway, Kerrigan asks for clarity on something.
Explain something to me, Zeratul. Why would your people leave such a sacred crystal in the hands of these Terrans?
Zeratul responds by explaining that Braxis wasn't always what you see now.
We didn't. Long ago, this world was a Protoss colony called Kirador. When the strife between our tribes escalated, this planet and the Uraj crystal were abandoned. These Terrans had come here only recently.
Now, whilst it can be comfortable to hang about and build things, Kerrigan is in play, and so is her cloak ability. Taking a look around reveals yet another Terran base, and with Kerrigan invisible to the naked eye, it's time to liberate those additional resources. A short time into all of this, Artanis throws a spanner in any plans we had with employing aerial assistance.
Executor, we have a problem. Our warp matrix was damaged during transit. Because of the extensive damage, we will be unable to warp in stargates to this location.
Okay, guess we're taking the scenic route then. The Terrans get brave and decide to try and test us, and although it's easy to dismiss, pay attention here. Goliaths, siege tanks, vultures. We're not just going up against Marines here. They're serious about holding their line. Once again, Dragoons are super useful in handling destruction. The Terran forces make it difficult for us to get cloaked units through unharmed, as they've got missile turrets everywhere, but these just make great target practice for Dragoon squads. Once we're happy with our own forces, we go for it and tear the Terrans to pieces. Finally, we find what we've been looking for, and Kerrigan moves to secure it.
The crystal's here, boys. Send in a probe to gather it up, and our work here is done.
You have done well, Kerrigan. There's more to you than it seems. Perhaps I have misjudged you.
Given our history, I can't say I blame you. Let's just get the job done.
Artanis opens by explaining that a different group of Terran forces has been detected. But what's strange about this one is it's not in any formation that the Protoss have seen up to this point. But nonetheless, they are on the channel, and they've got something to tell us.
Executor, our sensors have just identified a large group of Terran vessels. However, their configuration profile is unlike any Terran group yet encountered. We are receiving a transmission from the fleet's command ship, identifying itself as the Alexander.
Enter the United Earth Directorate, or the UED for short. The transmission that comes through is from a face we've not seen yet. Admiral Alexei Stukov. He gives us what is otherwise an ultimatum and says that he's about to get up close and personal with us.
Protoss Commander, I am Admiral Alexei Stukov of the United Earth Directorate. We are here to take control of the Terran Dominion and all of its outlying colonies. You are in direct violation of Terran space and have openly attacked Terran troops. Lower your shields and power down your weapon systems. The UED will be taking custody of your ships and whatever spoils you have garnered from this planet.
Zeratul is surprisingly cautious about this news, stating that Reyna had mentioned Earth to him previously, but it's the fact that they've made the journey that's worrying.
United Earth Directorate. Reynar spoke of the distant Terran homeworld called Earth. These humans have come a long way to make war on us.
Artanis tries to do the Protoss "we're above everyone" speech, but Zeratul reins him in with a gentle reminder.
Have faith, Zeratul. You almost sound as if you fear these humans. What are they to such as we? Was it not we who defeated the dreaded Overmind?
Yes, Artanis, we did vanquish the Overmind, but we did so with the help of humans. Do not be so quick to underestimate them.
Artanis quickly falls into place, stating that he's going to find a gap in their formation so we can get through and get ready.
Of course. Executor, I shall test the mettle of these humans by scouting ahead of your ships and finding a way through this blockade. Tasadar!
Jumping onto the orbital platforms above Braxis, we need to be calculated. Artanis sits uniquely as a hero unit, piloting a scout. We've got the bare essentials for a skirmish here, but it's never going to make a dent on the UED, so time to get moving. In an interesting dynamic, observers are readily available here, and from what they can already see, the UED has put missile turrets on the outer reaches of the nearest platforms. The objective of this mission is to destroy the generators that the UED have put in place, so that we can punch through this blockade that they've set out. Going into this, you need to understand something. The UED does not play around. They are going to throw everything at our forces, and I mean everything. Once again, we're going to loophole this first one. It's easy to get caught up in disable the missile turrets, take on the bunkers, blah blah blah. So, friendly reminder, our units have shields that can take a beating before it becomes a problem. So here's what we're going to do. Get the ground units into the shuttles, drop them off, and get the zealots to book it. Running to the far side of the generator itself puts our forces outside the range of a bunker, whilst allowing us to attack the target. Taking it down actually disables the missile turrets, so Artanis and his squadron can move easier now.
With the power generator destroyed, the missile turrets on this platform are no longer operational. However, we will need reinforcements to finish the job.
Reinforcements are en route now, young Templar.
And those reinforcements aren't half-arsed by any means. We get some Dragoons and Dark Templar to join the fight, which is going to come in handy. Without the turrets acting as detectors, our Dark Brethren are free to crack open bunkers and deal with the Terran ground units. Be careful. The Terrans have no issues fielding science vessels, and whilst they are primarily support units, part of that support arsenal is the EMP, which cancels out our shields. Fortunately, Scout's air-to-air weaponry is the perfect answer to put this problem to bed. In what can only be called a sneaky move from the Terran forces, they've placed a siege tank right next to a turret on a small isolated area of the platform. Try to deal with the tank by air, the turret answers. Try to deal with the turret by ground, then siege mode ends the debate. The second generator is a bit trickier than the first, partly due to its placement around turrets and partly due to the presence of wraiths, so we're going to take a bit of a kicking here before we get the job done. Another generator down, another call from Zeratul with more reinforcements.
Reinforcements are en route now, young Templar.
Third generator found, then dealt with, and more reinforcements.
Reinforcements are en route now, young Templar.
I really like this. It really gives that risk and reward factor to this mission. Only third time round, not Zealots or Dark Templar, but Reavers and High Templar. Fourth time's the charm. More air support in the form of additional scouts, but most importantly, Corsairs. And with their disruption web, this is handy to get past certain defenses. An Arbiter makes its appearance, and remembering that it has the awesome recall ability, this will help to change the pace of battle in an instant. Eagle-eyed viewers will notice that the UED has been sneaky and planted spider mines everywhere. Try and remember this the next time you come here. Further into this mission, we find that our scouts run into a nightmare of their own, and it goes by the name of the Valkyrie, a UED addition for air battles that answers aggression in the form of missile salvos. Deal with these as a matter of urgency. The final generator is guarded unlike anything we've seen before. Goliaths, even battle cruisers. It's a good idea to combine hallucinations and recall to get this done quickly, but once the final generator falls, we're ready room bound. Okay, quick reset. We grabbed Uraj, slapped the UED around just enough for them to back off, and are now over Char. Artanis asks Zeratul if he's managed to figure out where the Callus crystal is.
Executor, the Uraj is secured, and the UED has given up the chase. We are currently holding perimeter orbit over the planet Char. Zeratul, have you locked onto the location of the Callus?
Yes. I remember sensing his power the last time I was on this world. However, our sensors indicate a massive, fluctuating energy signature at its location. I am, however, unable to identify the signature's source.
Kerrigan cuts in saying that it's the new Overmind. She figures that it's taken root near the crystal, which will cause problems, but if we're quick enough, we could get through.
That should be obvious, gentlemen. The source is the Overmind itself. When the Cerebrates merged together, they must have locked onto the Callus energies and nested near it. It's probable that there'll be a number of broods protecting that area. It's risky, but if we can strike hard and fast, we might be able to fight our way through their defenses and escape with the crystal.
Artanis comes to the table with a different take. If we aim for the Overmind itself, it could give us the opening we need.
Comrades, I may have an alternative. Seeing as how the Overmind is still in its infant stages, I wonder if we might be able to disrupt its control over those broods. If we can do enough superficial damage to the creature, it might pacify the Zerg nearest to it, allowing us some time to retrieve the Callus.
Zeratul's impressed and praises Artanis for his bravery, stating that Tassadar would be proud.
A bold plan, young Artanis. Your courage rivals that of mighty Tassadar himself.
You give me too much credit, noble Zeratul. I am not worthy enough to even speak his name.
Kerrigan gets bored of the sentimentality real quick and advises that either approach works for us and she'll do what she can to support.
Touching. Look, boys, either of these plans will work, but let's not waste any time. I'll be able to exert limited control over a few of the Zerg here and provide you with some backup. But the longer we stay, the more we risk losing both the crystals again.
Agreed. Executor, deploy your forces. May Adun be with you.
In an exciting development, we've not only got our own forces, but thanks to the Queen, we have access to the Zerg as well. Double the finance building, double the army. Seeing, as we've seen firsthand, just how much chaos an Overmind can cause, we're going to take the route of attacking that rather than go for the crystal directly. Enemy Zerglings kick off the fight by testing us, not a problem as long as we're on the ball. As we progress, Hydralisks follow. Expansion, as always, is important here, and this is going to be one of the most varied armies we've ever sent out. Once again, observers are available, and it's really good to make them earn their place, because without them, we would fall prey to the new Zerg unit, the Lurker. More detail about the Lurker is available in my Brood War Units Explained video, but these things are a nightmare. But it's not just the Lurkers. Zerg are burrowed all over the place here, so getting a heads up definitely helps. It's not the worst idea to have an observer lead squads into new areas. It will help clear the way. The Swarm will do everything it can to stop us, and once we're through, Artanis calls in to say he's got the crystal, but he's not overly sure what happens next.
Executor, the Callus is ours. Let us depart this wretched world and return to Shakuras. Provided there is still a Shakuras to return to.
We're back on Shakuras, and we're greeted by Rashigal, who says she's glad we're back safely, but there have been complications in our absence.
Congratulations, Executor. Your success has brought us the promise of hope against the Zerg. However, we face a new threat within our own ranks. In your absence, Judicator Alderis and an entire legion of Kali survivors from Aiur have begun an open revolt against us.
I'm not gonna say it. Zeratul is surprised by this and asks what happened. Rashigal goes on to tell us that apparently old habits die hard, and they aren't fans of being here or working with the Dark Ones.
By the gods, this is ill news indeed. Why would Alderis betray us so?
He and his ilk believe that it was wrong to have abandoned Aiur and consorted with our people. Their prejudices have driven them to perpetuate the Conclave's sins against us. Even now, Aldaris and his loyalist Templar forces are preparing to attack our citadel.
Artanis is really concerned with this and asks if she's absolutely sure of what she's saying.
I can scarcely believe this. As if the Zerg were not enough. Matriarch, are you certain of this?
And the answer is yes. But like she said to Kerrigan before, treachery will not be suffered on Shakuras, and with that, she drops the order to get rid of him for good.
All too certain, young Templar. Executor, as Matriarch of the Dark Templar and Custodian of this world, I hereby order you to terminate Judicator Aldaris and quell this untimely uprising without delay. There will be no dissent among us while the Zerg are poised to strike.
Rashigal leaves the ready room, and Zeratul consults Artanis, stating that something's off here.
There's something amiss here. The matriarch has always been a wise and gentle soul. Though there is some merit in her decision, this is very unlike her.
Artanis then drops one of the coldest lines we've seen to date.
That may well be. But right now we have a friend to kill. May Adun forgive us.
Here we go again, and Artanis opens by giving us some bad news.
Be advised, Executor. Our forces are divided. Aldaris has taken control of our Templar warriors and arbiters. It is possible that he may even send Archons against us.
In any normal circumstance, this would be game over, yet this is far from normal, and Zeratul puts our mind at ease.
Fear not, comrades, for we have Archons of our own. Should the dire need arise, all Dark Templar may merge to become Dark Archons. Though we sacrifice our warriors in doing so, only the might of the Dark Archons can match the forces of Aldaris.
Excuse me while I quickly fanboy over these, they are one of my favourites. 2 of these monstrosities are already available to us, and Aldaris is going to find out real quick that today is not the day. The minimap discloses 3 separate locations where Aldaris could be hiding, but for now it's going to be a process of elimination. Almost as though the game knew we wanted to use our new unit, Aldaris sends an Archon with some zealots to test our defences. The problem is, with the new addition, his Archon is now our Archon, thanks to their mind control ability. Archons are a recurring theme on this mission, but we don't need to mind control everyone we come across. Throwing numbers at them instead is more than sufficient. Once we're set with what we need, we go all in, wiping out anyone who stands in our way until we land at the area where the first possible location for Aldaris could be, only to find out he's pulled a Tassadar.
You didn't think I'd be caught so easily, did you, Executor? You have only destroyed a phantom.
Off we go to the next location, and once again, we miss the mark.
Yet again, Executor, you destroy only a simulacrum of myself. You believe me to be a traitor, but it is you and the Matriarch who will usher our race to oblivion.
Now that is interesting. Could Zeratul have been onto something with what he said earlier? Third and final location. Finally, we make it to Aldaris, and what happens next is important.
It is finished, Judicator. Surrender your remaining forces and join us in eradicating the Zerg.
Aldaris is not hearing this, instead going back to his old ways and accusing us of being slaves to Kerrigan.
I would sooner die, Dark One, than tarnish the memory of Aiur by joining with you. Your fate was sealed the moment your matriarch allied herself with the Queen of Blades. Those of us still loyal to Aiur will never be slaves to Kerrigan and her broods.
Artanis, as the new Praetor, tries to mediate, stating that Kerrigan's changed and she's actually been helpful.
Aldaris, be reasonable. Kerrigan has changed. She no longer seeks to enslave anyone. Do not force us to destroy you.
Aldaris fires back and tells him that he can't see the forest for the trees, stating that Rashigal has been corrupted, but before he can finish his claim, Kerrigan herself pulls up and takes him out.
You can no longer afford to be so naive, Artanis. While you were securing the crystals, I discovered that your matriarch has been harboring a dark secret. She has been manipulated by
I have no time for this.
What have you done?
I just cleaned up your mess, Protoss. Don't be so squeamish.
Zeratul can't believe what he's just seen and calls Kerrigan out right before she gets down to business.
Wretched creature. This was our Protoss matter. You had no right to interfere. Be gone from this world. You are no longer welcome among us.
Fine. I've done what I came here to do. I've ensured the destruction of the renegade Cerebrits, and I used you to do it. Have fun, mighty Protoss. We'll be seeing each other again, real soon.
The final mission for the Protoss campaign in Brood War starts as all others have, in the Ready Room. Artanis is the first to fire off, stating that he can't believe they've been pawns in Kerrigan's game.
This entire chain of events has been masterminded by Kerrigan, and we played right into her hands.
Zeratul agrees, but whether we like it or not, by doing the one thing that Kerrigan needed us to do, we actually save ourselves at the same time.
Yes, we did, Artanis. Yet our course is set, nonetheless. Using the Temple's energies against the renegade Zerg may accomplish Kerrigan's aims, but it is still our only chance of survival.
Rashigal attempts to raise our spirits by telling us this ends now, and the Zerg will fall against the might of our power.
And survive we will, my warriors. For too long have we labored in futile defense, as our enemies push us further and further away from victory. The time has come to let loose the full fury of our powers. Never again shall Shakuras be despoiled by the foul touch of alien species. These Zerg shall be the first to fall before us.
Zeratul cuts in by saying something still isn't right here.
Matriarch, I have served you for many millennia. I have always valued your wisdom and strength. Yet, lately, in your mind, I have sensed something that clouds your true spirit. Though Kerrigan has gone, I wonder if her treachery still remains.
Rashigal responds by saying she's fine, but she admits that everything that's happened since Aiur fell has put the weight of the world on her shoulders, yet she is still present and will lead us to victory.
Be at ease, Zeratul. I am still the same Rashigal you have always known. These recent events have weighed heavily upon me, and I am wearied. But fear not. My warrior spirit will shine before you and light your path to victory.
Zeratul gives a one-liner back, clearly not convinced here.
Indeed.
Artanis does his thing and lays out the plan. He'll handle the Uraj, and Zeratul will take care of the Khalis.
The time for action is upon us. The crystals must be taken to the temple while the Zerg still muster their forces. I shall carry the Uraj myself, while Zeratul handles the Khalis.
Rashigal closes by telling us, the Executor, that we need to protect them both so that we can fire up the Xel'Naga weapon and rid the Zerg from Shakuras.
Executor, you shall provide escort for Artanis and Zeratul as they make their way to the temple. God's willing, we will channel the energies of the Xel'Naga and scour this world clean of the Zerg. Go now, my children, and know that the survival of our entire race depends upon your actions.
Immediately, the Matriarch warns us that when we bring the crystals to where they need to be, the Zerg are going to come at us with everything they have. It's a nice little warning from the game that we need to be ready for a big punch-up.
When you bring the crystals to the temple, the Zerg will surely send all their legions to destroy you. You must be prepared to protect the temple itself from the swarm.
One final fight. 2 separate bases. Top left, Zeratul. Bottom, Artanis. Let's do this. Pulling up on the Xel'Naga temple, we already know that we're in for a rough time. So before we get the boys to the beacon, we need to sort our defenses out. When we're happy that we can hold the Zerg off, we get Zeratul and Artanis to the beacon, and that's when it gets lively.
Uraj is secured.
The Gallus is secured.
Executor. Zeratul and I will begin to channel the temple's energies. You must prevent the Zerg from destroying the temple while we work. Adun be with you, Executor.
15 minutes. The fate of an entire people, an entire world, is decided in 15 minutes. After holding the line against the never-ending swarm, Zeratul calls out and tells us it's time.
Executor, the channeling is complete. Withdraw our forces into the temple and brace yourself.
What follows is a cinematic worthy of a finale. Once again, nothing I could say would do this justice, so here it is.